Chapter 60:10. Suddenly, Simon wanted to ring the bell immediately and asked someone to drive Helena away. Helena saw that Simon was obviously angry, but she was not angry. Instead, she smiled and asked, "Mr. Simon, if I say that I have a way to make you recover immediately, and even make you healthier than before the stroke hit you, tell me, am I qualified to stand here and discuss cooperation with you?" Simon scoffed when he heard Helena's words. He asked angrily, "My family has the best medical team in the world. None of them dare to say such things. Why? Helena smiled and said, "Your team can't cure your disease, but I can." After saying that, she took out from the handbag the pill she carried with her, took the blood-dispersing and heart-saving elixir, and said to Simon, "This elixir comes from the ancient and mysterious East. As long as you take it, you can recover as before. In order to dispel your concerns, I can give it to you for free before we discuss the terms. Take 1/10 of it so that you can really feel its effect, and then we can talk about the price calmly." Simon said with a look of disdain without any thought, I won't believe in this crude, vulgar pill. This kind of rubbish has any scientific basis." Helena said disdainfully, "If you believe in science, why are you still afraid of breaking your uncertain stubbornness? It's more scientific than science. Will you be the opponent of Warrior's Den like this?" Simon was a little dull for a moment. He only knew that the Warrior's Den was mysterious, ancient, powerful, and cruel. But he couldn't quite figure out what the real core of this organization was. As for cultivating Taoism, he, like most Westerners, does not believe in it at all. Seeing that he didn't know how to refute, Helena continued, "Mr. Rothschild, let me tell you the truth. From the beginning to the end, I have never had the idea of getting closer to the Rothschild family, let alone marriage. I have no interest in being friends. And the reason why I'm here today is entirely just to discuss this business with you. So you don't have to doubt my motives. Since I'm here in person, I'm not the only one who's responsible for this. The personal honor, as well as the reputation of the Nordic royal family, so I can't harm you." After saying that, she took a water glass from Simon's bed and saw that there was still about a quarter of the water in it. So she used another cup of her own. Using a leaf-shaped brooch, scrape off about 1/10 of the blood-dispersing and heart-saving elixir and put it into a cup to melt it. As soon as Simon saw her movements, he guessed that she was going to do something hard, and said nervously, What are you going to do?" I'm warning you not to, don't mess around." If anything happens to me, the Rothschild family, the family will never forgive you." Helena chuckled and asked him, "Mr. Rothschild thinks that I want to harm you, right? Is there any benefit for me? If you die, not a single cent of your trillions of assets will go into my pocket. I will also bear legal responsibility and infamy for your death. How can I, the majestic queen of Northern Europe, let myself be reduced to such a situation?" Simon knew that what she said was reasonable, but looking at the movements of her hands, he still said with some fear, Then why did you get that pill?" Helena said calmly, "Of course I let you drink it first. Your stuttering is too severe, and it is really difficult to communicate with you. Drink these medicines, and we will ease your stuttering. This can also save you some energy, don't you think?" After saying that, Helena came to Simon's bedside, saw his frightened face, and said, "I'm sorry, Mr. Rothschild, our royal family's usual acting style is very dignified. I am a little rude today just to save your time. Please be more considerate." Simon was frightened and said in panic, Don't pass the line, don't come." As he said this, he wanted to reach out and ring the calling bell. However, Simon had a stroke after all, and his body was already hemiplegic. To put it bluntly, he couldn't even hold a cigar firmly. In this situation, his body became even more inoperable when he was nervous. Helena didn't give him a chance to resist. She reached out and pinched both sides of his cheeks, forcing him to open his mouth. and then poured the water mixed with blood-dispersing and heart-saving pills directly into his mouth. Simon's face turned pale with fright, and his legs wanted to kick and struggle. But they were so trembling that he couldn't exert any strength at all. He thought Helena was really going to poison him to death, and he almost fainted from fear. He originally wanted to spit out the water that she poured into his mouth. But Helena gave him no chance. While the water was in his mouth, she threw the cup aside with her other hand, grabbed his chin, and jerked it upward. She said lightly, "Drink it." The moment Simon's chin was lifted, his esophagus opened instantly. And the little water flowed directly into his stomach along the esophagus, and he drank it all. Simon's eyes were filled with fear, and what he was thinking about was that it might be too late to say goodbye to this world. The next second, when Simon felt a different kind of warmth rising in his stomach, he was even more frightened, thinking, "Helena, this poisonous woman. She must have fed me poison. The poison is about to take effect now. I'm dead. It's a pity that I have a great reputation, but I didn't expect to be so useless when I died." Thinking of this, Simon blurted out angrily, "Helena, God will definitely let you go to hell." Helena nodded and asked, "Why would God let me go to hell?" Simon scolded, "You poisoned me. God, how could God forgive you?" Helena smiled and said calmly, "Look, your stuttering situation is much better. Let's feel it again. Have other symptoms improved?" When Simon heard this, he was startled for a moment. Then suddenly understood and blurted out, "Hey, it's really, really hard to speak. Why am I not stuttering?" After saying that, he tried to move his body, and it was obvious that his control over his body was much improved than before. He exclaimed in an instant, Isn't this amazing? Could it be, is it all the effect of that little pill?" Helena took out a piece of paper from her hand and said, "To deal with stubborn people like you, we really need to use some methods." After saying that, Helena said again, "I told you earlier. This pill can not only cure your disease, but can make your body better than before. Do you believe it now?" Simon said quickly, "I believe it. I believe it." Helena. "Oh no. Her Majesty the Queen. Can you again give me some more elixirs? I think I want to try a more obvious effect." Helena shook her head and said, "Mr. Simon is in a high position and may rarely go to supermarkets. Although supermarkets and airports, there is also a free trial service. There is no category that you can eat to your heart's content before considering whether to buy it or not. So I won't be able to give you any more elixirs until the price is agreed upon, so please forgive me." Simon said without hesitation, "Okay. If this pill can completely cure me, I am willing to pay $100 million. Helena was stunned, and then looked at her watch. She smiled and said, "I'm sorry, Mr. Simon, I still have something to do. Let's go ahead and recover slowly. Oh, by the way, if you have nothing to do, don't let anyone contact me. I'm usually too busy and don't want to waste time. Goodbye."